Boston teens will use some of their school vacation time this week to push for job opportunities and criminal justice reform. To tell us about the Dreams of Our Future campaign are two members of I Have a Future, a community organizer with its state budget campaign, Sebastian Canales, and the manager of the Juvenile Justice Campaign, India Drayton. Thank you both very much for being with us.
Thank you, Fred.
First of all, I want to ask you both about youth jobs, since a lot of the campaign is about that. And India, your own job. What do you do, and why is it so important to you?
Why is it important to me? Because before I had this job, it was my life was ending, and I didn't have nobody to speak up for me. So now I'm working with this job. I'm speaking up for others that can't be speaking up to. So that's why this job is important. And also it focuses on a lot of the criminal justice system and reform. So that's why it's really important to me.
Sebastian, what about you? What do you do in your job?
So basically I'm in the state campaign, which is fighting for youth jobs. And it's important to me because growing up and still growing up, watching my mother struggle, she can't do everything. And it was just because I didn't want to end up like my brother who's homeless. And I feel like if he had a youth job, then it would have been different and he would have provided for himself. And I don't want to end up like him. And hearing other stories of kids who almost lost, their homes, but they found a way to regain that. It's important to me because I don't want to see my friends homeless or myself. Is why it's important.
India, what about the importance for getting a little more money for families, not just for you or for Sebastian? Isn't that what a lot of the young people are looking for here?
Correct, because to touch upon what Sebastian says, we don't want nobody. There's always somebody out there that is homeless or that needs a youth job in that experience in their life to progress and go further. So that's why we come into play and also help a lot of other people, a lot of other youth in the community and all around the world. That's why we're a statewide coalition.
Sebastian, this year, talk about how much money you want for these jobs and I guess why you want more this time.
So right now we're pushing for $14 million in the state budget, and that will fund 5,000 youth jobs all across Massachusetts. Last year was $10.2 million. And the reason we want more is like what India said, we don't want kids to be homeless. And not just that, but when you have a youth job, you can gain other skills. Not to mention that school does show you skills, but when you have a youth job, you learn right now, when I have my job, I focus on communicating skills and other skills like that, and which is important because it's basically used in the daily life.
And you talk about the connection between this kind of a job you have now and the job you see yourself doing in the future.
So this job now, it helps me focus on politics-wise and also helping youth. And the job I'm looking forward to gain in the future or next year is being a paramedic. It also gives me some type of influence and be aware of what's happening, and also I could do that in the back of an ambulance truck as well, help the youth and things like that.
India, another thing here that's part of this campaign is juvenile justice. There are two issues. Start with the one about expunging some of the juvenile crime records. How would your proposal be different from what is in effect right now?
Okay, so expungement is a bill that passed to erase all misdemeanor crimes before you're the age of 18 and also help you give a second chance in your life, because you don't know what that person was going through. You don't know if that person stole some food to not starve again, and also to have recidivism and not have them go back in jail and things like that, and give them a second chance.
Sebastian, another part of the agenda here is to raise the age for juvenile crimes. What would it be, from 18 to 19?
18 to 19.
Some people wonder, some people who are 19, they're very much like adults, but why should we think of them as juveniles?
Well, because some kids, like India said, they might could have committed a little crime, but it was to provide for their family and provide for themselves, because they don't have a youth job or they just can't provide, period. So we don't want them to go into an environment where they're not used to it. You can see, you might think they're old enough, but they're not really old enough because your brain doesn't develop until the age of 23 or 24. So just them seeing what's happening, there's gonna want them to go back to jail again, and we don't want that for them. so they're going to have a
And you have a rally planned for Thursday, and this is a statewide campaign. So I guess talk about why it's important for young people to take some time and come out there and join you for this.
It's important for every youth around Massachusetts to come out to this rally because we're going to touch upon a lot of topics that revolves around them, and they need to be aware about these issues. But also, the juvenile justice having action at the Bruce Bolden building down Dudley at the same exact time around dismantling the school to prison pipeline, how Black and Latinos are not given necessary resources to be mentally in school. So that is also happening.
And what time is that going to be taking place exactly?
11 a.m.
That's right. Sebastian, what do you see here? I mean, talk about the importance of young people just, spending time on this, as opposed to the things that you're focusing day in, day out when you're in the classroom.
Well, so like when I'm doing this job, I feel like more empowered. And, when I get older, I want to be a lawyer, and like this kind of helps me more to become a lawyer and fight for what's right, because a lot of people are being denied what they deserve, and mostly Black and Latinos. So I feel like being in that community, it's important to fight for what's right.
And what about the importance of being visible? Because we're talking about communities and age groups. We only see them when something goes wrong.
Exactly. That is the sad part. We're supposed to be seen as when we're doing good and also when we're doing wrong, but not as a whole as doing wrong. That's why we have this annual rally every single day to support the youth and also get $14 million in the statewide budget.
Right. One other thing I want to ask you about, Sebastian, some of the inspirations for I Have a Future, some very important people, some important things that they said. Anything you'd like to mention about that?
So I would say, like, can you repeat that?
Well, there are some quotations about some people who inspired the I Have a Future movement that you might want to mention.
So Martin Luther King is really a big one that we really focus on, because he basically focused on the Black and Latinos like we do, and he sees that they have the ability to do what they want and how they want to do it. And a lot of people don't see that, which is why it's really important for us.
And what does it mean to you, India, to be part of this?
What it means to me is like outstanding, and also, wow, they've been doing it for a long time, and now I'm just being a part of it, and it's like I just need to step up and do what I need to do to help my community.
And finally, I know your main rally is going to be at the Old Self Church in Copley Square. Yeah. And what time is this going to be on the 22nd?
At 11 a.m.
All right, well, thank you both very much for being with us. India Drayton and Sebastian Canales from I Have a Future.